Howdy, hombres! My name's L.A.zy, and welcome back to the letter. In the last episode, all of our friends had a vicious argument between one another. They were fatigued, they were on the run ever since the ghost started chasing all of them around the city. And, like I said, the argument was pretty vicious. Everyone was almost at each other's throats due to fatigue, and Ash barely calmed down all of them. So, in the meantime, Ash decided to actually go to the source of all the problems, the Armengardi mansion, now that it's owned by Luke and Hannah Wright. But I'm guessing that's not going to be easy because considering Johans is going to be patrolling and the ghost is probably going to be chasing us as well. So, with that in mind, let's get into this. Time for more reading. Gallery Shaw's Monday night crowd, although small and barely occupies a quarter of the whole pub, provides ample enough cover for anyone who wishes to leave the place unnoticed. Just exactly where I need tonight. With the live and the music and the chatter slipping out, mostly unseen, becomes a piece of cake. Without much trouble, soon enough, I find myself standing outside under the chilly exploring night. A gust of wind picks up shortly after I step out, carrying the telltale smell of an impending rain, a good about an hour or two before it starts. From the looks of it, tonight will be another downpour, maybe even stronger than the one we've had this morning. On instinct, I hunch further into my jacket, hugging its thick material closer to my body while I weave my way through the lines of empty cars in the parking lot. Leather crinkles in my pocket with each step I take, though paid no mind as I hurry towards my car. I've nicked it minutes ago from Isabel's belongings on my way out. If this is all connected, I need to stay a piece of paper with me. However ridiculous it sounds, I'm quite sure it won't be missed either. But I can't waste time here and wait for her to find out, can I? 4 hours is all I'm giving myself to get this done. 3 if I'm inclined to go by the rule Z-Man said, but when have I ever? Regardless of how generous that is, each second is just as important as the next. So I hurry, one footstep over the other echoing, to make my beeline for my car. As with every plan, problems crop up at the last second. It's practically a universal rule, and it does, in the form of a lone figure waiting for me next to my car. Becca? Yep, thought so. How the hell did she get in front of us, though? Rebecca turns just as I near, the corners of her mouth twitching up in a weary smile. She offers no greeting except for a slight tilt of her head. Even as my pace slows and I look at her with only unvoiced questions in my eyes, she remains wordless, merely throwing her head back and shifting her attention up at the starless sky when I come up to stand behind her. Another gust of wind blows as she breathes out a sigh, very thick with something close to resignation. The breeze carries all of it away while she hugs her arms closer to herself to keep warm, which raises the question why she's out here. The air is already heavy with the promise of rain, with clouds obscuring the view. There's really nothing left to look out but a dark blanket of nothingness. Still, she stands there if she's intentionally waiting for everything to fall. That, or she's here for some other reason. Before I can voice a single word, express disapproval of any kind, she raises a halting hand at me, sharply cutting off the rest of my question.
I'm not here to stop you. Wherever it is you're planning to go off tonight, I won't be able to anyway. You look like you've already made up your mind.
Go back inside. It's going to rain soon. It'll probably be even heavier than the downpour we had this morning. You wouldn't want to be caught in it.
I will, in a moment. I just want to stay out here a bit for some air, away from the noise inside. Everything's been so chaotic these days. This little break is nice. Even if it means standing in the middle of a parking lot, of all places. Getting out of this mess would definitely be better, but hey, you take what you can get, right?
It'll be over soon.
Confidence in my own words surprises even me. How do I know? Why am I so sure? When in truth, what I'm about to do is a last-ditch effort. If this fails, if I don't find anything, we're back to square one. It's the last lead I have. After this, we have nothing else to go off from. Regardless, it seems to amuse her, and her laughter soon sounds above the murmur of distant traffic, and light drafts sweeping around us.
How I wish. I'll be content as long as she stops showing up in my mind whenever I close my eyes.
I think that may take some time. The brain doesn't easily forget trauma.
I can try, but you know, it also did a lot to us.
Tell me about it. The back of my head's still smarting from my fall last night.
Not that kind. I'm talking about us. as people, I hate to admit it, but this whole deal with the ghost, with the curse, it also brought out an ugly side to us. To all of us.
You said it, especially in the last episode, how you intensely argued with each other. It was horrible.
And it made me realize plenty of things about myself, about us.
Rebecca trails off. Suddenly, a pensive expression spreads across her face. I've seen countless times before. And every time I see it on her, it's usually followed by a memory. A silly story, even something embarrassing upset from childhood. Unlike me, who would much rather forget, she remembers each of them so easily. And after a short bout of silence, when she smiles, I know this is one of those times again.
Do you remember that one time, back in secondary?
Which one? We did a lot of dumb things back then. Well, I did, but you get the point.
Mandy.
I thought you still don't like her. Don't tell me you've kept in contact with her. Are you guys friends now or something?
Oh no. We do see each other sometimes. On the way to work or when I go out for lunch, but it's nothing like that. We're not friends. Not in this lifetime. I don't think so. I don't think we'll ever get along, but if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't even be friends, yeah? You stood up for me that day. And from then on, things have changed.
She makes it sound like I'm some sort of a hero. If Mandy was in the wrong, of course I'll defend her. If no one's going to stand up for her, who else will? Chances are it would have escalated, and who knows, maybe she would have stopped going to school or transferred. Any decent human being with an ounce of sense should know better. I acted because I know what I'm doing is what's right. It's as simple as that. And she smiles as if it's worth more than that.
I guess...
Ah shit, I missed the last.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is... This time, I don't want this to go unsaid. You know, just in case something happens, Ash.
Out with it already, Becca. Muster up the strength.
I've always been in love with
Finally. She says it so plainly, holding my gaze in a voice too frank. Her admission stuns me into silence. Like the wind has suddenly been knocked out of me in one fell swoop. No words will form, not even a single coherent thought as the meaning of her words bear down on me. Nevertheless, she continues, desperate to express everything she has kept to herself all these years. This is what the fondness is. Why, for her, it weighs heavier than any feelings of nostalgia can carry.
Since that time in secondary, since I made that promise to never leave, I've always truly loved you.
Afterwards, there is relief, a weight suddenly being lifted from her shoulders after so long. She closes her eyes and lets out a breath. When she looks back to me, though, there's nothing but hope in them, eyes that are searching for an answer. Facing the sincerity behind her words, I find myself grasping, scrambling for the words. As much as this pains me to admit, I can't give her the same affection she's asking from me. Are you serious, Ash? We might have spent so many years alongside each other. Hell, we practically grew up together. But that never automatically means I'll ever hold for her feelings that goes beyond the boundaries of friendship. I do appreciate her presence in my life. I'm more than glad she has stuck with me even through the toughest moments. Even when she finds me difficult or aggravating. However, it's really all there is to it. She's a close, important friend to me, but nothing more.
Rebecca, I'm...
Drawing a breath, ragged, unsure. Please don't give me the choice of that, please. Please. Considering how and which words to put together so it will hurt less, so the wounds might leave won't be as deep or a scar. Though before I can even string two phrases together, she lifts her hands to my mouth and silences me. A smile on her face, kinder than every single one I've seen from her so far. It's nice to see it on her. It suits her more than the glares or the frowns. But at the same time, it only serves to baffle me. You don't have to answer me.
Yeah, but you should... I should...
No, I mean, you don't need to.
Okay, now I'm really confused. One moment you're saying you've been in love with me since secondary, now you're telling me to shut up?
If you want to interpret it like that, all right.
No, really. Some explanation would be nice, Becca. Because a lot of things are going on right now, and I'm afraid I can't catch up. especially with this curveball you just threw.
It means what it means, Ashton. You don't need to answer me. I don't really need to hear it anymore. It's not that I don't want to. Believe me, if I were the same person I was before this whole thing happened to us, I'd be elated, excited even. But like I said, I also realized some things. Ash, I did love you. Ever since we were kids, all those times you defended me from bullies. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, even after this. But at the end of the day, once you take a closer look at everything, it also turned me into a really selfish person. When you think about it, maybe the Ashton I loved isn't the one standing in front of me right now. Maybe all this time, I'm still clinging on to that aloof kid I met 17 years ago. I didn't even consider that you have a mind of your own. That one day, it won't just be the two of us. That you'll find someone else and it won't be me.
I'm sorry, Becca.
Not even sure what I'm apologizing for. That I can't return her feelings? Because I'm somehow holding myself responsible for this, even if up until now I have no idea how she felt. Regardless, she continues to smile through all of it.
It's not your fault. Don't say that. I'm the one who should apologize. Since I suddenly sprung this up on you when you have other things to do, I just thought I should let you know. So I can finally let this whole thing go. One question though. Are you going to tell her?
Tell what to who?
I pause, frowning, a brief moment of doubt while I try to figure out what she's talking about all of a sudden. When it finally sinks in, though, my bewilderment hastily gives way to utter embarrassment.
Oh, shit.
Heat abruptly crawls up my face no matter my efforts to keep it down. In the end, I can only look away from her, afraid of what else she'll see in it.
Did you really think no one would notice?
Was it that obvious?
It was surprisingly easy to tell, but that was probably because I've known you longer than anyone.
Fuck, who else knows?
I think Zach suspects.
Shit.
You're embarrassingly lame when you're trying too hard. It's almost painful to watch. Don't worry. With your terrible way of flirting and knowing her, I'm quite sure Belle has no idea, even now. Not even a clue.
Oh my god, this is so good. Such a heartwarming moment in the midst of all this. But yeah, I guess Bella, considering everything that's going on in her head, she doesn't notice it for now.
Harsh, Rebecca. Really harsh. I could use a vote of confidence, you know.
She laughs loud, kind of free of any burden, ringing above the wind, slowly picking up as the storm clouds approach. Wooded, however, the awkward atmosphere lifts at least. That's only the camaraderie we shared since meeting in the classroom 17 years ago.
I'm serious though. Tell her. And if you ever make her cry, I'll hit you with every damn history book I have on my shelf. Clear?
Noted, ma'am.
Anyway, thanks for hearing me out. I won't keep you long. I know you have things to do. Just promise me you'll be careful, alright?
She doesn't wait for an answer. Instead, she gives me a push with a force only heavy enough to throw me off balance. Caught unawares by the gesture for a few moments, I fight for purchase against my car's trunk, bracing my hand on a smooth surface. Okay, what do we got next? The only page that hasn't been filled up yet is November 1st, though. And I'm guessing that's going to be the end. Ashton left for the mansion at nightfall, but when he got to his car, he found Rebecca waiting for him. Fearing she might not have the chance, Rebecca confessed her feelings. Before he could answer, Rebecca stopped him, admitted that she had been selfish and she was letting him go. She only wanted him to know. Aww. I look up with a string of reprimands ready at the tip of my tongue. Rebecca's already halfway through the parking lot. A small skip in her steps with the breeze carries the light tune she's whistling. On a whim, I let its notes be the last thing I commit to memory before slipping inside my car and driving off. It sounds like a new beginning, more than anything. Another reason to be optimistic. Within 10 minutes, I'm driving out of Lixbourne and heading straight for Ainslie Village. In the distance, flashes of lightning light up the horizon, white and sharp against the black curtain of the night. Thunder threatens with a rumble, seconds later, echoing long across the sky. One last roar, the skies open in earnest. November 1st. Oh boy. This is this is the same picture that we seen at the beginning of the game. The rain falling fast, steady sheets, creating shallow puddles of the dirt path drenching everything the eyes can reach. Despite having grown up in the city, I still despise the rain. Being here doesn't mean I have to like it. Lucky me, I've reached the mansion before the downpour has turned to rental. The long slog from Anson village by foot has already been made difficult by the light drizzle and biting winds buffeting against my body every few seconds. By the time I found cover under the trees lining the vicinity of the mansion, my shoulders are already drenched. My hair is also sticking against my skin and out in every possible direction. Thankfully, the letter, taser, and gun I brought with me has remained relatively dry. That's the most important thing. However, those are the least of my problems at the moment. Sometimes after the housewarming party, the scumbag, Wright, suddenly grown a brain tying the security around the mansion. The guard is now stationed in every possible point of entry. The main entryway, the back door leading to the kitchens. Hell, it's almost a miracle no one has spotted me once I entered the property. Although that's possible because I've kept close to the forest. While I can always create a clever way in for myself under this deluge, it'll be difficult to do so without making much noise or leaving tracks.
I don't really have the luxury either, do I?
Considering how off this place feels since I've stepped in the property and the mansion came into view, every light is off, even with the security personnel patrol outside. The whole house itself feels empty, eerie, too quiet. Normally I pass off as some kind of power outage because of the storm. It's not far off conclusion when this place is almost in the middle of nowhere. However, something just feels wrong.
Something happened here.
Or about to. It's the sole reason why I haven't done anything yet. Simply observing, watching, listening for anything. I might be pressed for time, but I'm not a careless idiot. Although I need a way in desperately so, moving without thinking will not only endanger me. With so many unknown variables and what we're dealing with, I also have to act on the assumption that someone is always in danger, especially in this place. I can't act impetiously. As much as I hate Wright, I'm not about to cause his death because of one thoughtless action. There's a place he deserves to be at, it's in the prison, not more. I'm guessing that's the ghost crying? So when the hoarse, painful sob suddenly rings out, above the loud pitter-patter of rain, only then do I stir. A woman, perhaps a servant? Or worse, Hannah Wright, escaping from the forest? Just right up ahead, in fact, not too far from the house. Regardless, I give the place a quick, wary glance before following the noise, carefully keeping on to the shadows, one cautious step after another. Louder and louder it goes as I near. Oh shit! Yep, that's just as I thought, the ghost. It abruptly turns to a loud, desperate, anguished cry. I break into a run, one nervous hand ready on the gun holstered at my hip, and the other raised for balance as I scurry across the dense understory. Dead leaves crunch under my shoes, but I pay no mind. There's only the voice of the woman and nothing. Abruptly all stops and I am met with a sudden hush, blank, empty, almost deafening in its stillness, even with my labored breathing and pounding heartbeats against my ears. Behind me, another branch breaks in.
Help me.
Dread surges within me while I spin around and take a hard step back, knowing the chilly pinpricks crawling at the back of my neck. Before I can even meet her eyes, the bowl unexpectedly pitches sideways, tilting, tilting till the ground beneath me finally crumbles. My hand, my hands fight for purchase, only to meet air, but then it's too late. My foot slips further and the rest of my body follows. Dark spots blur the edges of my vision. Black tendrils twist and coil around my limbs. Soft footfalls echo from the far distance, scurrying, scampering, moving in an odd rhythm with the sharp, piercing notes of her laughter. More than the, more than that are the voices, lacing venom inside every crevice in my head. It was the jeer, scoff, and deride over. It's because you didn't listen. And over. It's all your fault. And over again. Why won't you believe me? A reminder of what I failed to do and who I failed. What I'm trying to desperately fix. The scream threatens to burst when the throat closes off. Ever so slowly, a chill seeps into every nerve in my body, washing away every sensation in me apart from one. There's only fear. Once again, her laughter echoes, a sound both bitter and unforgiving. It's the last thing I hear before she reaches for me. The ground trembles. The world slows to a stop. Half darkness greets me when my eyes finally snap open. A soft pad of dripping water somewhere spurring my consciousness further. The underground, where Marianne is locked up. The storm is starting in earnest when Ashton arrived in the mansion. While trying to find a way in, the detective noticed the eerie silence that had enveloped the place. Something was wrong inside. Before he could figure it out, sobs of a woman suddenly echoed. For a few short moments I remained still, blinking away the dizziness, allowing my vision to adjust to the lack of light and my breathing to even out first, before pushing myself up on one arm and attempting to stand. Turning alone is a struggle on its own. Each movement sent a stab of sharp pain right at my arms and back, giving me another pause.
Shit. I hope I didn't break anything. Fuck.
It doesn't seem to be any injury or a major fracture, though the whole of my back does feel sore and raw, probably from when I've skidded down prior to landing myself here. Comforting thought. The second attempt comes easier later, though no less painful. By the time I'm back on my feet, the exertion has left me gasping in short, shallow breaths, and leaning heavily on the wall nearest to me. Behind me, a light draft blows in from where I've fallen in, coming in short, sharp bursts into what's apparently an underground tunnel that brings in the fresh, earthy smell of rain from the topside. Regardless, it fails to mask the old, musty scent of the place, a mixture of mold and mildew, dust, grease, and something distinctly foul, like death. More worrisome than the putrid festering smell, however, are the cells that line both sides of the tunnel. Under the dim light, you can barely make out what's inside on some of them. I already have a few ideas, all of which I refuse to delve into at the moment. Knowing how long this mansion has stood, somehow, no matter how unexpected finding the existence of this place is, it isn't too surprising.
I wonder if Scumbag knows about this.
Probably not, unless he's also the kind of person who takes joy in inflicting this kind of suffering on others. I don't really think so. He's rotten to the core, but not that rotten. He'll probably balk at this, move out at the first opportunity and have it demolished. The very idea of what has occurred in this place years ago makes me real as well. I've known long ago places like this tend to hold secrets. This, though? Is this just the tip of the iceberg? I fear that I may have discovered in the mansion itself the tale behind that fucking ladder. But fear is inconsequential, as unpleasant as this is, this place might also be the only way for me to get inside unnoticed. Sighing and taking one last gulp of clean air, I push away from the wall and delve deeper into the passage.
Let's just hope it'll be smooth sailing from here on.
Turns out that alone is too much to ask for this early. Marianne? Marianne has to be alive. The 20 paces into another sound abruptly rises from my footfalls, rebounding off the hollow walls and echoing inaudibly across the whole span of the tunnel, before fading away just as swiftly as it rang. I pause nevertheless, straining my ears for more of it, while I gradually move my hand to my side, slow and steady until the tips of my fingers brush off the gun's handle. Although cold against my skin, it's the closest thing I have to comfort at the moment. For a long minute I wait, holding my breath, watching every form, edge, and shadow at the corners of my vision for any movement. After a hard beat and nothing, I allow the tension to ease out of me in the form of a long, slow exhale that reverberates around the whole passage.
Who's there?
Mariana! Perhaps it's because of what has happened early and how I've ended up here. Maybe it's because of my training. In spite of the pain and the fear in that voice don't immediately answer. Instead, I pull my gun free from its holster and wordlessly draw closer toward the voice rings out once again. Afraid. Frantic. Weak?
I'm asking you a question. Who's there?
It's only after I've released the safe to do I answer, while continuing my approach in a careful, steady pace.
I think I should be the one asking you that. Who are you? Show yourself.
I can't. I'm stuck in here.
Well, a ghost will definitely not be saying that, or have a conversation like this, or be stuck anywhere. And as if to prove her point, she extends a hand from one of the cells ahead and waves. Then she pulls back, grips the iron bars, and rattles it lightly.
I can't get out. Can you help?
Mariana? In 5 quick steps, I'm standing in front of the cell, and sure enough, a woman's inside. I can't see her inside. Slumped on the floor, holding the bars with shaking hands, clinging to it as if it's the only thing keeping her upright. Not just any woman.
You? Er, uh, McLaughlin?
McCullough! That's her name. Same one I met at Cheese 5 days ago, smashed drunk and babbling her frustrations about her employers.
Holmes?
No, not McLaughlin. McCullough. Marianne McCullough, famous interior designer extraordinaire. Not so extraordinary now. How exhausted and feeble she looks, trapped in a jail cell of all things. Her breathing is shallow, and there's paleness to her complexion. Sunken eyes, cracked lips, dry skin. All signs point to starvation and dehydration.
What? You. How long have you been stuck in here?
3 days? 4? I don't know. I have no idea anymore.
4 days without food. Jesus Christ.
I just fell in and that woman, whatever. Can you get me out of here? Please.
We need a key.
In a moment. But here, go feed yourself first before you fall over.
I fish out an energy bar from my pocket and hand it to her. She's lucky I always have one in my person. For sudden emergencies or extended stakeouts, a little sugar to keep me going. Like any starving person, she wastes no time making a grab for it, wrapping it straight away and taking the whole mouthfuls of it. Relief washes over her face on the first bite alone, though she's going to need more than that if what she has said is true. For the moment, it's enough to keep her alive. Good thing she seems to have the sense to prioritize survival over comfort. If the ball on the corner of the cell indicates anything. Without water, the human body can only survive 3 days. No food, and I'll give it an average of 3 weeks. And even then won't be a pretty experience. Granted, some have survived longer than that. She's still fortunate I found her when I did. Now to get her out. My bobby pins won't be of any use here, not like I need it. Like the ones we have at the precinct, a simple barrel and hinge holds the gates to the cells together. Even without any special tools, I'll be able to lift the door and free her. However, with how heavy it seems, I'll need a lever or some sort of help.
What are you looking for?
Some wood, a 2x4, I guess, a plank or a pipe, anything I can use as a lever. Wait here.
The hallway yields nothing but dust, dirt, and a few rusted chains scattered about. While I may find something in one of the open cells, I'm reluctant to check or even step in. I can't have another person trapped in here. However, McCullough ended up inside.
Well, there's no.
My head snaps back to her. McCullough extricates a wooden board from under the mess of hay and twine near her. Without prompting, she slips it through with a little space there isn't between the bars. In short, but appears thick and sturdy enough for my intended purpose upon closer inspection.
Good enough.
I hope. I get to work at once, anchoring the other end of the plank at the base of the door and applying ample force on the other hand. It takes a bit of effort, no kidding about the heavy part. Still, a grunt, a gasp, a creak. In a matter of minutes, with a little help from the other side, the door eventually lifts off and hinges. Falls on the ground with a loud, ugly, metallic thud, but the sound of it puts elation to McCullough's face. She doesn't even ask for help. As soon as she can, she easily crawls out of the prison she's accidentally found herself in. More than happy to get out of it, despite lacking the strength to stand firmly on her feet.
Thank you. Thank you so much. After the second day, I was so sure I was going to die in there. If you didn't show up, I don't even want to think about it.
Jesus.
How did you even end up here?
For a second, she appears hesitant, looking away, fumbling awkwardly with her fingers.
I was looking for something. Someone.
Contemplative expression flickers in her eyes, something that's close to wistful, like when a person remembers a memory she's fond of. It doesn't last too long, but it still leaves me the impression that I've suddenly walked into something private, something deeply personal for her. I'd rather not ask.
So this whole tunnel, at the end of it, it leads right inside the mansion?
The wine cellar.
Right to the kitchen then.
There's a door of some sorts. I don't know. I think I pulled or pressed something somewhere. I was in a hurry, and I'm not sure if it'll open from this side. Hell, this place wasn't even in the floor plans.
What do you mean?
Does that really matter now? We have to get out of here. People died in this place. Kids! Oh God! Kids! I could have shown you, but that thing won't turn back on anymore. It's like it only waited for me to see it before shutting down or something. How long has that thing even been in there? But those poor kids. All because of that thing.
Wait, hold on. What are you talking about right now?
The bloody letter! Ever since I've read that thing, since that day at the open house, she won't leave me. But it should be fine now, right? I broke it. I broke all of it. She shouldn't be able to do anything now.
Mikala, one at a time.
It's all that fucking paper's fault! Oh god. Oh god.
Jesus, I think she lost it.
Dear Lord in St. Adelaide, bless those poor souls. We're not safe here. We need to leave. If we stay here any longer.
Mikalo!
Ashen, is that enough? Abruptly she stops, looks back at me with wild, panic-stricken eyes. I've seen it so many times these past few days, from my own friends even. To know she has seen things, the kind that easily make any person to go mad. Perhaps we slowly are. The longer this takes, the faster the descent into it becomes. Can't even tell which one's worse, death or this. It seems like no matter what we end up with, there will be something horrible waiting for us. I need to hurry.
Listen, I need to get inside this place, and you're more familiar with its layout. If you can help me...
What? No! Why would I go back? Are you sure you haven't gotten raving mad yet? An exit's right here.
And this business with the letter has to end at some point. Look, I know you're not very fond of Luke Wright.
Damn right I'm not. He can just go.
But are you really sure you want to leave him like this? And what about his wife?
It strikes a chord. She falters, grows quiet as the tension lifts from her and her shoulders slump. I don't understand her issues with this. In fact, she doesn't have to go with me, only tell me enough info so I can figure it out on my own. She can always leave afterwards, be done with this whole damn mansion and the letter. The other end of this tunnel leads into the forest. It will provide ample cover for her to be able to slip out of the property unnoticed. At the same time, she steals herself and squares her shoulders.
Just until the kitchens.
That's more than enough.
She nods, albeit weakly. Then without another word, she gestures for me to follow, leading me further into the passage. After his fall, Ashton found himself in an underground passage when he came to. There he encountered Marion McCullough, who got trapped in one of the cells for several days. The detective managed to free her, and in turn she helped him find a way out of the mansion. Occasionally she'll stop, find the purchase on the wall to catch her breath, but throughout the short walk she asks for neither a break nor assistance. I suppose that's something we have in common. Eventually we get to a dead end. But before I can question her on, she begins palming for something on the wall, tracing her fingers along weathered edges on the bricks with a frown on her face.
It should be somewhere here, I think.
What the hell are you doing?
She merely holds up a hand, begging for my silence, and continues searching. And without warning, a few minutes later, something clicks. A portion of the wall shifts ajar to reveal a glimpse of another room. Balls lining the walls, liquor barrels for aging, wine cellar indeed.
The ladder to the kitchen is on the far end of this room.
Surreal. This is all nothing but surreal nightmare, but after everything, should this even surprise me? Ghosts, curses, hidden passages? I don't even bring myself to question the existence of this door anymore. I simply follow her to the undercroft without a single question, in spite of a number of them already swimming inside my head. As a kid, I used to crave for this kind of adventure. The stuff of mystery and detective novels, daring chases, interesting cases to solve, suspects to put behind bars, justice to serve. I was blinded, I admit. I simply want this to be over. We'll leave the door open in case there's a need for a quick exit, especially after she mentions it's only by chance she's been able to open the door last time. Can't waste time finding the switch again on the occasion something goes horribly wrong. It's bound to be, with me feeling this high-strung and tense. I'm not even sure why I thought it would be a good idea to enlist McCullough's help. Although she has been quite helpful so far, I can't shake off the horrible feeling something is going to happen to her if she stays with me. Even if I'm her safest bet, if she wants to get out of this place alive.
You really believe that, don't you?
Did you say something?
McCullough pauses mid-step, turning to me confused.
I didn't.
You sure? I just heard...
Don't you think I'll be the first person who'll know? Look, the ladder leading to the kitchen's up ahead. You might want to hurry. I just want to be done with this place.
See? You dragged another one.
This time I'm sure. It's really a voice. Well, voices. Despite the look of protest McCullough shoots me, I find myself stopping and looking for it, searching the immediate surrounding for the familiar form of the woman. Don't even have to venture too far from where I'm standing. Just an arm's length away from me, the mere shards litter the floor. Aren't the biggest fragments. Ah, shit. All the reflections. They speak. all singing the same mocking tune against my ears, letting it echo throughout the small undercroft. Murmurs and laughters, cheering, scoffing, deriding, lacing venom into every crevice of my head, taunting me.
You dragged another person into this, Ashton.
Into another one of your silly little problems.
All because you can't fix them on your own. You really haven't changed, have you? Some hero you are.
Useless.
Pathetic.
You're wrong.
My mistake lies in the first instance I've answered. The very second denial has slipped from my mouth, their words have also seeped into my heart, allowing it to prod at and rouse my temper. Despite knowing that I'm merely doing this to goad me, each word, each syllable trickle into me, spurring the guilt I hope I've long buried.
Are we? Or is that simply what you've been telling yourself all this time? Something to make yourself feel better, perhaps?
You're the one who took that letter off Isabella's hand that day. You're the one who opened it.
How does it feel, I wonder? To know you're responsible for all of this?
What do you think I'm doing? Why do you think I'm still trying to fix this?
Oh, but you can't. It's already too late. And you know that. You know all of this is futile.
Just face it, Ashton Frey. You're a failure. And they are the ones who have to pay for it.
A badge and a gun, and you still can't protect your own friends. Can't even solve a case for an old man.
Can't even bring the right to justice.
Can't even keep his own family together. No wonder they left you. Before you do the same thing to them.
Mom and Dad are better off without little old you, aren't they? It's a good thing they had the sense.
Pitiful, isn't it? Some detective you are. Some friend you are. Some son you are.
Jesus, those are biting words.
You might as well just throw that rank away. You're no use to people either way.
Shut it!
Ashton is getting pissed. I hate this. I hate how this monster can easily get through to me. Every weakness, every insecurity it knows. It's here it said in my friend's voice even more so. What I hate above all of this is...
You know it's true, though.
All of it. It's why all you can do is tell us to shut up. You don't want to hear a single word, because you're already aware of it. You can't even admit it to yourself. Who's the coward now?
But no matter how hard you try, you're not going to be able to save anyone.
Shut it! Not a single word anymore.
In the end, your own incompetence will eventually lead to the deaths of everyone you care about.
It laughs, sharp and piercing. At sound, something in me snaps, a rage hastily unfurling, red feeling my vision. Next thing I know, I'm raising my hand and... something grabs at my wrist, followed by a buzz as another voice breaks through the haze.
Don't listen to it!
The fog from my mind lifts. Every sound, every noise returns to me, flooding my every senses. All at once, there's this deafening silence. Slowly, I become aware of my surroundings. Bottles of wine, barrels of liquor, the faint old scent of death and decay somewhere, and a hand holding onto my wrist to keep me from hurting myself. In my hands, a shard. Blood drips from where it has cut my palm, trailing down my wrist until it disappears behind my sleeve. Not too deep, negligible even. There is a pain, however, a different kind. An ache somewhere else that stems not from the wound, but every single word is hit. I glance up at McCall. She really stares at me with wide, horrified eyes.
Don't listen to it! No matter what happens, don't do what it says! It's how it gets us.
My grip on the shard falters. Only after I nod and drop it entirely does she release her grip. Afterwards, she simply steps back and looks away, hugging her arms closer to herself. She breathes a sigh, heavy. Perhaps weight of her own guilt this monster might have used against her.
Come on, we're getting close.
More? Before he could go deeper into the wine cellar, Ashton began to hear voices from the mirror, the shards on the floor, mocking for his failures. But before he could do anything rash, Marianne stopped him. Lately, he realized he had picked up a broken mirror shard. Oh boy. On the ground, they lie lifeless now. No more voices, no more insults. But even as I walk away, one whispered taunt continues to ring in my ears.
It's useless, Ashton Frey. You are going to die.
And you are going to die alone.
Fear. one that has been long kept in the darkest place in my heart, one that a small part of me wishes for. Trapdoor swings open without much fuss. It isn't even locked, probably I left open for one right asking some midnight snack. I make sure the coast is clear, of course, before I pull myself and help McCullough up. The butler of theirs is nowhere to be seen. He's probably sleeping, attending to his master, doing some extra late night work before turning in for the night. Meanwhile, Wright won't touch anything to do with menial chores, not even with a 10-foot pole. It's next to impossible for him to linger here. No servants, no anyone. Just as easy as that, we're in. Gently I close the hatch. If things go well, the same path will be our way out. If luck doesn't hold, it's not an option now, is it? I have people waiting for me. I really don't want to think what might happen. Sometimes it's best if we simply revel in the little victories. They're great blessings when everything else is going against you. And in a place like this, fraught with unknown dangers, it's a feeling that lasts only but a second. Suddenly, a sob, ringing out from some distant part of the house, echoing through its empty halls. Beside me, slumped on the ground, pale and breathing heavily, McCall immediately tenses. Her eyes go wide and she grips the side of the counter with a force that might be enough to crack it, if only she has the strength. As it is, she can barely stand. She hasn't fully recovered. It makes sense in the 3 or more days without proper food or water. And it's this weakness that puts the fear in her eyes. She's aware. If something happens, there's a need to run, she won't be able to. She's a liability at this point.
Holmes, I really don't think going any further is a good idea. Look at this place. Everything seems fine. Nothing's off. Maybe we should just go? I really don't like the sound of that.
You really don't have to come with me. Just until the kitchen, yeah? We're already here. You've done your part. From here on, I'm going on my own.
Yes, I said that, but
Can you even stand?
She doesn't answer.
You'll only be putting yourself in more danger if you follow after me. You have an easy way out of here. Stay here. Once you're okay, I need you to get yourself out of this place.
what? I'm not going to leave you.
Well, I'm not taking you with me either, lady. So it's here or out there.
You really are mad, aren't you?
Probably all will be, if no one fixes this little curse problem we have.
You think you'll find something in here? This is just a mansion, for God's sake.
Maybe. It's worth a shot. Besides, if what we're hearing right now says anything, I'd say scumbags.
Who?
Right. He might be knee-deep in trouble and he has no idea about it.
McCullough still appears as she's about to argue. So instead of more words, I holster my taser and hand it to her. Standard issue for every member of Luxborn police force, but it shouldn't take a genius to know how to aim and fire one. Even Isabella must be able to use it without training. Yet Miss Interior Design Extraordinaire states as if I've just handed her something particularly nasty.
Listen, you want to wait? Fine. I'm leaving this with you. But if I don't come back here within 15 minutes, I want you to backtrack and get the hell out of here.
Are you daft, Holmes? I already told you.
In case something goes wrong, I need someone who can tell people what's going on. Who can tell my friends what might have happened here. They're at the crawl. You know the place, right?
I trail off, letting the meaning of my words hang in the air. I want to be optimistic about this. Really, how am I going against something almost everyone can't quite understand? Just being realistic with my chances. McCullough seems to understand this as well after what I've said. Any sign of protest has already died from her tongue, and she simply looks at the taser quietly. After a moment, she just nods. Let's see what we got next. Upon reaching the kitchen, the crying Ashton heard from outside began anew. Unwilling to risk a civilian, the detective handed Marianne his taser. He advised her to leave him if he didn't return after 15 minutes, even if he himself was uncertain he would. Beyond the walls of this room, the cries continued to grow louder, and I take it as a sign to leave, without another word I slip out the door. A siren call, her voice beckons. Finding out who that it seems a good place to start as any. Keep to the shadows for the most part. Not that there's any need to. The entire place just feels empty. Odd when a house this big should have large staff. I think there'll be 1 or 2 roaming around for some late night chores, someone seeking out whatever's creating this ruckus. There's none, however.
Shouldn't they have security posted inside as well?
Unless there's security means the butler, though I doubt the scumbag's that sloppy. He loves his life more than anything. Probably more than his own wife. The things he's done, he's bound to make more than an enemy or two. He's also the kind who'll do anything to keep himself safe, alive.
I wonder what he'll say when he finds out that there's something not human living with him in his own house.
Potential dangers aside, being on my own grants me a greater degree of mobility, which I'm more comfortable with. Sure could have enlisted McCall's help. Next to the people who owns this, she's probably the one who's most familiar with the mansion. The cons of bringing her outweighs the pros. She's better off somewhere a quick exit in sight. No tag along, I only have to worry about myself, watching my back. Selfish, I know.
But necessary.
In the same manner, this whole plan is, no matter how idiotic going into this is. Besides, no one really need to guide when the house layout is fairly simple, almost mirrored with the only modification in the rooms. Although I've only been here once, I think I already have a good grasp of this place ins and outs. As long as you can tell which is the east and west, it shouldn't be hard to find my way around. After the dining room, the main floor should be the next thing that greets me, where the woman's cries are leaning. Honestly, after what happened outside, I'm not even sure if I should be trusting what I'm hearing. With the whole house somehow seemingly devoid of any of its inhabitants, I'm inclined to look into this. More than surviving this curse, a huge part of this is my training speaking.
I just hope this isn't a crime scene I'm walking into.
But nothing's ever that simple, is it? Not when you're dealing with the supernatural. Nope. Because as soon as my feet cross to the next room, something shifts. Whoa, boy. In a flash, seemingly without fanfare. Happens in the blink of an eye, I almost miss it. One moment there's red, and the next, I'm standing alone in the foyer. For a brief instant I pause, glancing wildly around the place, feeling twice as if my movements will spur the vision back. Yet, nothing. No blood dripping on the walls, none trailing down the stairs or pooled on the floor. No eyes watching my every movement. And the same cries gradually growing intensely the longer I dally, along with a voice. Desperate.
Where are you, Mother?
Pleading.
Mother, please. I don't want to be alone.
Coming from the same direction I've heard the cries from, upstairs. The place is not entirely empty, then. The better question now is who? Definitely not Scumbag or the butler. I have yet to see hide nor hair of them, and not knowing their whereabouts puts me on the edge. I have to be careful not to make any noise or be seen. Maybe the wife? But one can't really tell if it's her, the way the walls echo her voice. Nonetheless, it pushes me to move. Taking almost 2 steps at a time, despite the sickening feeling that something's lurking behind every great shadow, every small corner I pass. As if the house has several eyes watching my every movement. As if something alive dwells behind the walls itself. And again. I try to shake it off. What's next? Upon reaching the kitchen, the crying Ashton heard from outside began anew. On Lord to continue deeper into the mansion, and he was uncertain if he would get out of the place alive. But the uneasy sensation has already made home at the pit of my stomach. Dread, and only grows deeper the closer I get to her. The relative emptiness of the place doesn't help either. Neither does the harsh wind battering the windows, nor the sheets of rain pelting down the roof. For a fleeting second, I found myself wishing for Scumbag to simply show up. Don't get too far down to that train of thought, though. Abruptly, the cries stop, replacing it with,
Please. She's here. She's here, Mother. She's going to take me. She won't leave, Mother. Mother. I don't want to go with her. Tell her to go away. Mother! Mother, she's here! Help!
that can't be good. Adrenaline overcomes me in a rush. In no 2 heartbeats, my feet's already moving before any sense can catch up or doubt creeps up to me. My hand's already at the holster as I hastily set off to the far side of the hall. One alarmed footstep after another while struggling to keep that sense of panic at bay. A door lies ajar at the end coming from the floor above.
She's going to hurt me! Help me!
I do not hesitate. Moving in despite the lack of light, steep stairs with a thick layer of dust kicking up with me every step, I pause only a moment upon reaching the top, and without wasting a second, I push the door open. I recognize that! That's Charlotte! She sits in the middle of the room, shoulders hunched, shaking. Her hands cover her face as she weeps, oblivious to my presence. It's as if she has heard neither my footsteps nor the soft creaking of the door, continuing undisturbed. I'm standing in time far removed from her. She doesn't even flinch when I call out to her.
Hey, are you alright?
Mother. I've done it, Mother. Take me with you, please. She's here. Help me! Help me, please!
Lately, I noticed the blood on her hands. If it's the same one drenching the whole attic, I'd rather not know. How the whole room has ended up like this is the least of my problems at the moment. Even the single human body doesn't have this much blood. So bodies? Thought sent an unpleasant twinge in my stomach. Does Rai even know about this? This is bad news, alright, but this? This is beneath him. He'll definitely balk at the first sight of it. Anyone will. Yet the woman lingers here, unmoved by the sight, letting her sobs fill the room, repeating the words over and over again like a prayer of salvation. To whom? The mess of parchment she has left on the floor? Just what the hell is happening?
Hey, lady, are you?
The rest of that question never makes it out. I don't even see it coming. Should have been more aware on guard, really. As little I can do when a well-placed blow to the back of my knees makes me stumble. Let me guess, Johannes. Sobs lit ash into the mansion's attic. In the middle of the room, he found a woman crouched on the floor, crying. Cautiously approached her. As he was about to reach out for her, someone grabs him from behind. Barely even registers in my head that the woman's gone. The room is normal as it could be. Knob of the pain suddenly shooting up my side when I hit the floor. I don't even get the chance to get my bearings back when a hard enough blow to the stomach caused me to buckle down and land heavily on my knees. Gasping, I fumbled wildly for my gun. Before I'm able to turn, level it, and shoot, hand grabs my wrists and twists it. Hard. I gasp, grunt. Cry of pain slips past my mouth. The gun falls to the floor with a thunk. As soon as it lands, the foot kicks out of my reach and it slides uselessly under the bed. Agony suddenly explodes in my chin, jerking loose a sharp cry of pain and starts peeling the edges of my vision. A brief moment of regret hits me for leaving my taser with McCullough, when a piece of cloth closes around my neck. Without warning, my attacker pulls, tight. I'm left gasping, choking and clawing for air, blindly reaching behind me, as I still try to fight him off and loosen the pressure on my neck, except any sort of movement only causes him to pull it taut.
My, so many rats scurrying about in this mansion lately.
It is Johannes, writes Butler. Shit!
Tell me, what did you do with the madam?
I have no idea what he's talking about. Something happened to Hannah Wright.
Let go, you asshole.
Now, Dummkopf, you're in no position to be rude. Last time I checked, I'm not the one breaking into other people's homes. Now answer my question. What did you do with the madam?
The pain rings and resonates through my already sore body. Still, I managed to write it out in spit of muteness.
You.
Keep that dirty mouth babbling and you're getting a knife in the kidney. I assure you it will be more painful than this.
Jesus! He really doesn't need to threaten me by now. It's all too much to bear at this point. My lungs feel like they're burning with the lack of air. Dark spots begin to fill the edges of my vision. Ever so slowly, the world around me dims. My consciousness rapidly slips away from me, without meaning to.
Get away from him!
Isabella? Hearing that voice as if I've been doused with a bucket full of ice, cold water, familiar. Too familiar. More importantly, it shouldn't be here. Shouldn't be hearing it here. She shouldn't be here. Immediately my eyes snap open. Isabella? What the fuck are you doing here? And right there, right in the attic's doorway, stands Isabella of all people. A rolling pin on one hand and standard issue police taser on the other. My taser. She must have borrowed it from McCullough. Where else could she have gotten one? I doubt she has ever used one even. Hell, the way she holds it right now, I can easily disarm her in one bit. There's something in her. In her eyes. Though there's a look of fear in them and her hand shakes, she keeps the weapon trained and pointed at scumbag's lackey. Untrained or not, she does not plan to leave her without putting up a fight, it seems. Admirable, really, but it's not just something we need right now. We need to stay away from here. And you're safe. The chances of that happening grows slim with every laughter that slips from him.
Oh, this is just getting better and better. The Bratwurst won't be pleased with the number of bodies we have to dispose of today, you know. Tell me, how many of you are there? So I can prepare the proper number of bags.
What? Johannes, you're messed up. Damn it. What the fuck is going on? Why is she here in the first place? Did she follow after me? Who else came with her? Zach? Rebecca? Are they all here? Panic surges within me. She knows how bad the situation is, but did she really have to run in here and expose herself like that? Does she even know how to use a taser? For fuck's sake! More than worrying for my life, it's her I'm concerned about. Getting strangled, dying by choking, isn't part of the plan, but following me here isn't either. This is why I prefer to do things alone. That's why I'd rather be the only one taking the consequences. I don't want to think what this bastard might do to her after he's done with me. When my voice comes off as nearly a croak, I try to tell her as much. She has to leave. Stay far away from here than these people.
Don't! Damn it, Isabella! Get out of here!
Another bout of pain erupts in my side, cutting off my words. A cry of agony bursts from my mouth. I taste the blood on my tongue as I heave, attempting to get in as much air despite the towel still coiled around my neck.
Ash?
You're going to lose air quickly that way, Dummkopf. Better keep it shut.
Get out. Out.
Don't be stupid! I'm not leaving you here!
He laughs, too cruel, too unforgiving. The wage note beats against my ears in spite of the warmth and them send chills down my spine. This is a man whose hands have already been stained with blood before. He won't hesitate.
I'd follow his advice if I were you, little girl. What could you possibly do with a toy? Just hand it over and be on your way. It'll probably be too difficult for a little girl like you to use.
There's a moment of silence. Fuck, I can barely keep my eyes open. In the next second, though, I still don't exactly understand what's happening. Isabella shouts. Not a cry of pain, but not a yell of panic. One that's resolute, firm. Perhaps it's a tone that's least fiercer than any I've heard from her before.
Try me.
Oh boy, Johannes, drop Ashton now. If she's making that face, she's gonna fuck you up.
Ashton, duck!
I do. More out of instinct and desire to survive, closing my eyes before my mind can fully process what's going on. It all happens in a blur. Telltale sound of a taser being discharged resounds through the room. The air crackles. Something whizzes by, almost too close to my ear, followed by the thud of something blunt connecting solidly with another object. Next thing I know, the towel strangling me has started to loosen. I collapse on the floor, dazed and gasping for air. Ashton attempted to fight back, but his attacker quickly disarmed him, looping a towel around his neck and strangling him. But just when he's about to lose consciousness, a familiar voice rings in the room and knocks him out. From my peripheral, though, the haze of blood rushing and sound slowly filtering back, the butler buckles. He spasms once, and without much fuss, falls face first beside me. Knocked unconscious by 50,000 volts of electricity and a fucking rolling pin. He'll be out for a while. I have no idea where I should laugh or cry at that. Someone in front of me, my oxygen-deprived brain vaguely registers Isabel's form. She slumps on the floor, also breathing heavily. Right next to her trembling hands, both the taser and the rolling pin lie useless and forgotten, while the mood in the room eases. A long, gradual process of tension lifting. For countless seconds we remain quiet, with only our short gasps and sighs to fill the silence, allowing the adrenaline to ebb away and both our breathing to slow. Not a true response by any means, but simply a brief respite. We're still the curse, we're still inside the mansion in imminent danger. We still have no idea how to fix this. Outside, the rain seems to only intensify. Lightning flashes gleaming somewhere, white and piercing, and the sky rumbles. No rest for the wicked. I stir first, once recovered, having regained some semblance of sense of strength. Breathing still hurts, but it's bearable, as is moving. Although every small motion causes a wince, there will be bruising tomorrow, I can manage. Retrieving my gun from under the bed is easy. But only with some effort, I'm able to drag my unconscious man to the far end of the room, snapping one end of a handcuff to his wrist, while fastening the other to the bed frame. That should keep him restrained for a few hours in case he wakes up prematurely. All through this, Isabella stays quiet. In fact, she hasn't even moved since. Her hands still shake and taking in long draws of breath while she stares vacantly in front of her, almost as if she's in shock. Perhaps she isn't expecting any result, spurred only by some kind of desperation. Now it's sinking in. Unfortunately, we need to get moving. We don't have time to wait for everything to register in our heads. Kneeling in front of her, I give her a light shake.
Belle, we need to go. We can't stay here.
Slowly she turns, staring at me with wide eyes. Worry flickers briefly in them along with something ineffable. Without warning, she lifts a hand and slaps me across the face. Oof. The sound of it cracks the air, shattering the silence like a fragile glass breaking. Despite the familiar rumble of thunder outside, it manages to ring louder above the storm. I don't even know what hit me until my head has already snapped back and my cheek stings with her anger. And it is anger. In spite of the stillness and lack of words afterwards, no fuming, no, never fuming, but the kind that burns lightly and soundlessly, frustration instead of a seething rage. One that ebbs just as quickly as it flows, and once the tide subsides, there's only the gleam in her eyes, warm, steadfast, and unflinching. Quietly, I brace myself for the truth underneath that gaze. It slips from her lips, nearly fading under the sound of the rain still falling fast, if not for the weight in each of her words.
What is wrong with you?
Belle,
If Zach didn't slip up, no one would have known where you went.
Belle, one person knowing is enough. Any more than that, and
You almost died. He could have suffocated you right then and there, and you could have died.
I told Zach to give me 4 hours. That would have been enough time to.
It would have been too late. And by the time anyone ever finds out, you're already fertilizer.
She trails off, drags on in one drawn breath after another. A brief lull as her frustration finally gives, dissolves into something more pensive and somber. Her shoulders droop and through her lower voice rises hoarse and weary. In her next words, there's only certainty.
You count too, you know. When I said, that night when I told you I don't want to lose anyone anymore, that includes you. Alive. We're still here, Ash. You have us.
And once their meaning fall, roar, it does so not with force of a dam breaking on a raging storm. The gentle, steady warmth of a heart burning, an ember easing slowly, lightly, rising and giving, until all that's left is the truth and understanding. Not alone, never alone. Well, she's kinda right. Going in alone, you could almost die. Having recovered, Ashton quickly urged Isabella to move, knowing it wasn't safe to stay idle. Without warning, however, Isabella slapped him, furious at him for keeping people in the dark. She reminded him of what was important, and with it came a realization about himself. It lingers, even as we both drift back in silence, and the words take root, because in the gratitude that swells after, it's a little warmth blooming. Pleasant, welcoming, like finding home, like finding ourselves in the haze of the squall that's left, creating something fragile yet immutable in both of us. It's in her eyes, in the way she holds my gaze unwavering, in the way she carries herself despite sitting amidst the place she fears, in the way she keeps herself from trembling and falling apart because fear is inconsequential in people she cares about or at risk. The change. She realizes that now, holds on to it. Another little thing, another small thing from her, may go unnoticed and pass by quietly, but will eventually amount to a lot of things. Tiny gestures that mean nothing at first begin to matter to me one day until, despite myself, a small smile slips from my lips at the same warmth from earlier unfurls in my chest. Unhurried, familiar, and bright from all these years I've carried it, but have never given the words for it.
Stop smiling like that, Ashton. I'm not done scolding you.
But this time they come easy.
I heard all of it. Don't worry.
Are you really okay? That guy hit you a little too hard on the head. Here, let me...
I reach up as she extends a hand towards my face, catching her wrist in a light grip, drawing me closer, folding her hand in between mine. Her expression does shift into mild confusion. She does not pull away like I'm expecting. She simply stares at me, searching. For her to allow a gesture from me that perhaps too close, it tells a lot how far things have already shifted in the past few years. Cradled in mine, her hand still trembles. Most of the tremors have already subsided by now, but that will fade away this soon. Even as I trace the lines of her palm, and why I hope it is a comforting gesture.
I'm sorry, Belle.
For what? Is this about what happened tonight? You can apologize later when...
No, well, this too, but it's not just about this. It's for a lot of things. For calling you clumsy and careless and a scatterbrain.
Are you sure this isn't a concussion?
You would think that, wouldn't you?
Well, you don't usually apologize.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that too. For all the times I've teased you and made you cry.
Unexpectedly, her fingers tighten around mine, our hands falling between us as something tender shifts in the air. Another exhale. A little drawn breath eases out of me, filled with every hesitation and uncertainties. When I finally choose to break the silence, it's only when I know that what will slip past my mouth is that one truth I will hold against the world.
But for all those callous words, despite all those, there's nothing I don't love about you. In fact, those things, I love those. And everything. Everything that's You.
For a long moment she offers no response. Her grip on my hands immediately tightens. While my heart's pounding hard against my ears, I take a chance to look up, slightly leaning away and giving her a cautious glance, more than ready to hear her rejection. And it is one, despite the smile on her face. It can't even be called one, of course. There's a pained aspect to it I can hardly name. Regardless of what it means to her or what she intends to convey with it, the sight of it alone makes me regret ever mentioning anything. It's almost as if she's forcing herself to push out the next words out of her mouth for the sake of not hurting me. Not that I won't be able to take it. If these feelings will only put a heavier burden on her, I'd rather not have said anything at all. As expected, one last squeeze and the hand cradling hers, she pulls her hand away from mine. She speaks though, there's a stark refusal to meet my eyes. Now that I hold it against her, the situation is already awkward as it is.
Ash.
She pauses, biting her lower lip. A small frown forms between her eyebrows while she struggles to find the right phrases to string together.
Ashton, I'm really sorry.
Oh, no, it's cool. I was already expecting that. Kind of. But you don't have to.
No, I mean, I can't. I can't afford to think of anything other than helping my family. Especially now that Papa's gone.
Aww.
They're going to need me more than ever, Ash. I'm sorry. I really can't. Not right now.
I've always known it would lead to this. To some extent, her family will always come first. Who might take that from her? It hurts, of course, but the pain eases knowing that in spite of circumstances, her heart will always be in the right place. She's still the same woman I've fallen in love with.
It's all right, Belle. Don't apologize. If it still matters, that's actually what I love about you. Of course, not that I'm expecting anything by telling you that, but you get the point. Yeah.
Thanks, Ash. I mean, thank you for loving me. Even after everything.
Aww. Her response is a smile and a soft laughter, perhaps the sweetest I've seen and heard from her. Just from it, I know nothing will change despite her answer. Any lingering feelings that will come from this. And there will be. Lingering feelings, that is. But the way she barged into our lives 5 years ago will probably be enough to leave a terrible impression on anyone. But that's also precisely it. It's people like her that you don't easily forget. Instead, it gradually works their way into a person's life, so the very thought of losing them becomes unbearable. As it is, I'm already content with simply staying by her. No grand expectations or hopes attached, just the banter. The small smiles and quiet little moments that roar. I love her, but that also isn't all there is to us.
I know I caused you all kinds of trouble these past few years.
Hey, whoever told you I'm doing this for free? After we're done with this curse thing, you're gonna owe me a year's supply of ice cream.
Yeah, we'll see.
Another laughter, this time from both of us. Then she hits my arm with a light punch. Familiar, warm, bright, and hopeful. Much like everything about her. And is strength enough to keep me going as I lead us both out. Oh, they're not a thing. That's a shame. I so wanted them to get together now. Understanding how much she also meant to him, Ashton took both of her hands in his and apologized. In a rare moment of honesty, confessed how he truly felt for her. However, although thankful, Isabella was unable to return her feelings and turn them down. That's a damn shame. And it was strength enough to keep me going as I leave it out. Relationship with Isabella wasn't high enough though. Power still hasn't come back when we make our way downstairs. Tricky considering the stairs to the attic are a bit old. One misstep and anyone might end up slipping and falling. You're lucky if that's all that'll happen to you. With the stairs this steep, a broken neck is a likely outcome. Thankfully, Isabella's here to guide me through the darkness. She knows this place better than anyone, after all, in spite of all the misfortunes it's brought to us.
Careful, the floorboards over there aren't very sturdy.
Ryan cue the same board I'm stepping on creaks and suddenly breaks. Pieces falling somewhere with a dull thunk.
Oh shit. Scumbag wouldn't be too happy about that. Ow, foot.
See? I told you so. You never listen to me.
They renovated the whole mansion. They can't even replace one tiny part of the house.
Why don't you file a complaint to BRC then? I'm sure they'd be thrilled to hear it. You know it was such a rush job.
Outside, the winds have intensified. Even from here, I can hear gusts battering the window in the attic. Makes you wonder why, up until now, the only person we encounter from this house is the butler. Although to some degree that makes sense. He is in charge of running the place. What are the other servants, though? In this storm, won't anyone want to stay inside? The likely assumption is they're all asleep. Route taken doesn't really pass by the rooms that are likely assigned to a servant's quarters, where they also hide security. I brushed it off earlier, thinking we'll post it a lot closer to where the master's rooms are. The second floor is devoid of anyone as well, as if every inhabitant in this place has suddenly disappeared overnight. More importantly, where's that scumbag? I don't like this. I don't like this at all. The fact that we're here right in the fucking middle of it makes me all the more queasy. That feeling only escalates once we reach the landing and Isabella swings the door open. Okay, you know what? We are gonna save our progress here. After what seemed like almost an hour of this episode. So we reached the mansion, and Ash unfortunately didn't get both of the girls, neither Rebecca nor Isabella. That's a shame. That makes me really sad. Probably because the relationship values were higher. And that woman, I actually know her. I did read a little bit about her. Charlotte Armengardi, the previous owner of the mansion, and she does have her own twisted secrets that she keeps to herself. And probably what we see in her is like her devolving into madness after what she had done. So, without further ado, that's it for this video. Thank you all who watched. And hopefully, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.